you. I'm just going to let you guys cover whatever it is that you decide to cover. Go ahead. Okay, hold on a minute. I need y'all to loosen up. What's going on right now?
We need to get
Do I
up
got
into
to
the
don't make me start a dang therapy session up in here. Wait a
we
minute.
got the hokey dance.
What is going on? Why are y'all so uptight right now? Now listen, this is what we're gonna do. I need y'all to take a deep breath, okay? This is diaphragmatic breathing, okay? I want you to breathe in through your nose. Don't make your chest rise because that increases the tension. Diaphragmatic breathing is when you breathe and your stomach rises and falls because that does not increase tension, and it's almost like your rib cage massages your internal organs and increases a calm state. So I want y'all to take we're going no, they about to do it because they are uptight. I need them to relax and chill. Okay? So I want y'all to take a deep breath.
Stomach out.
Now blow it. Yes, now release that breath and tell yourself everything's all right. Okay? Now, because I don't want y'all to be nervous or anything. Like it's not a big deal. You guys have, for these weeks, you have provided wonderful information for our listeners. So y'all can just relax.
With another spin. I really enjoyed the spin that they give us.
Yes, and we have been getting positive feedback on what you all are bringing to the show. So y'all don't need to be nervous or anxious or anything. Just tell us what you got.
Right now, we're covering the 1.5 million high school students nationwide experiencing physical abuse from their dating partner in a single year.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you read that one more time? Because the D has an ear infection and she couldn't hear.
Two ear infections.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right
2
now,
ear infections.
We're covering the nearly 1.5 million high school students nationwide experience physical abuse from a dating partner in a single year.
Okay,
That's
now I have a
lot.
question. When you gathered that statistic, what was your response? Were you surprised that the number is that high, or were you all thinking, yep, that sounds about right? Which would mean you have witnessed this or know teenagers in your school who are engaged in or involved in some domestically violent relationships. Was this surprising information?
Well, we ain't seen domestic violence. We seen verbal abuse.
Okay. Cursing each other out.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Humiliating each other. Okay. So, but you all, which is a form of domestic violence, because the forms of domestic violence are the physical abuse, sexual abuse, of course, and then the psychological abuse. And the verbal abuse falls up under the umbrella of the psychological. Now, there are other forms of domestic violence because they've expanded the definition to include financial abuse. You know, when you have a married couple and one person makes like all the money and the other person doesn't, and they use their money as leverage to control the other person. That is also a form of domestic violence. Now, y'all teenagers, so, you know, most of the kids are probably broke still, but you guys have witnessed some of that psychological abuse.
Yes, like today we had some girl.
Today?
Yeah, like today we had some girl get jumped today over a situation because the girl's man was talking to her, but he was also verbally abusing her in front of everybody. And so she takes out her anger on the next girls he goes to talk to afterwards.
Oh, wow.
That's some drama.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you something what my mama used to tell me.
Tell us.
She
Tell
said,
us.
young, stupid girls
Okay, the young,
grow
stupid
up to
ones.
be old, stupid women.
That's true. Simple but true. There was domestic violence in our school, in high school. D.
It was?
Yes. I had a friend when we were in high school who was in a domestically violent relationship.
Really?
She wasn't dating someone at the school. She was dating an older guy, somebody in the military, but it became domestically violent. And I also had another friend who was in a abusive relationship with a guy, and he also attended the school. But most people did not know. And so I'm wondering if that's a lot of why this is underreported, is because people are not aware, because teenagers keep this a major, major secret.
Yes.
I used to beat my boyfriend up.
Well,
in high
that was
school.
domestic violence. You beat a whole lot of people up, though.
Because he used to try to be a player, and I just like go and slap him. Like, really, you gonna do this?
But D, you beat up a lot of people when we were in high school.
I don't think I beat those many people up though.
You were violent, D.
I just didn't take no.
Let's just, we're
go
going to keep
back
it
to the
real in front of
kids.
these kids.
About to go back to the kids.
This woman was whooping a lot of tail when we was in school. Okay.
I don't recall.
But I don't think you were, with you and your boyfriend, because I'm saying that you were being domestically violent. But do you think you were being domestically
yeah, when I
violent?
think back on it, yeah,
You were?
I was. I'd
Okay.
be like, and he was older than me. He was like 3 years older than me.
In our school?
No, he didn't go to.
How
our
many
school.
times he fell? Oh, okay.
No, he was out of school.
Oh, I'm the
He was
25-year-old
out of school,
senior.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did it?
I would bust windows. Me and my girls would be busting windows.
Oh, this is
I was
going
very
really.
ab-
This is going
I
a
was
really
very
bad
abusive.
direction,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, let's get back to the kids.
Can we get back to the kid?
Me and my girls.
Oh Lord,
Me and my girls.
I mean,
that went in the
I don't blame her,
opposite
'cause,
direction.
I mean,
I condone the shenanigans.
You condone it.
Oh, don't support the D in that. Okay, D, we are covering domestic violence.
We went on domestic violence. Okay.
Right.
What in the world?
1.5 million. I'm just,
Here's my
that number
question.
just unlike.
The number is high, but I think it's grossly underreported.
It might
And the
be.
reason why I say that is because with adults, it's harder for adults to hide it, especially if they have children. And a lot of times adults are forced to do something about it, like go to a domestic violence shelter, et cetera, et cetera. With teenagers, if a teenager, like a teenage girl or a teenage boy, because teenage boys can be victims of domestic violence, they have a girlfriend that gets mad and do what the D did, you know, all
and
that.
now we even have same-sex relationships,
Yes.
which is probably a lot because women are emotional creatures.
Yes,
Okay.
they are.
And so what ends up happening is they are having fights, but with teenagers, they don't tend to leave as many physical signs of domestic violence. They don't tend to leave as many bruises. So you don't have a lot of young girls who are victims or young boys who are victims showing up to school with a black eye, for
Because in our
example.
generation, it's not so physical abuse; it's more verbal and emotional abuse.
More the verbal and the
Yeah.
emotional.
Plus-
But in the cases where it is
And
physical,
the social media
they're hiding
part
it.
of
Yes, the social media influences it too.
Yes, okay, now I'm getting it.
yeah.
Yeah.
People who abuse other people tend to find ways to make it so that people won't be able to tell.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. What are some of the ways that they do that?
Well, doing stuff like if they're hurting them physically, doing it somewhere where clothes would be covering it, or like telling them to cover like whatever bruises they have.
Trying to get reassurance of what they actions of what they did.
Hiding the bruises.
And like
Right.
trying to justify what they did so that the person would be more willing to hide it.
Right. And a lot of what happens is the type of physical aggression that it's not exactly like punching a person that would leave a bruise. It's snatching her up and shaking her and maybe
it's not-
shoving her into
But
the
it's not
locker.
even more sore than no more. It's more just arguing and going back and forth in public embarrassment. Because personally, we experienced it at our school. We have a couple right now that's publicly embarrassing each other. That literally
Okay.
caused a fight today.
Okay. So what else do you guys have?
Oh, we also have this part where it says among female students between the ages of 15 through 20 who reported at least one violent act during a dating relationship, 24% reported experiencing extremely violent incidents such as rape or the use of weapons against them.
Wow. Wow.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on that? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
My thought
Because what you were saying is that in your school there is more of the verbal. What I see in therapy with teenagers who are in domestically violent relationships, they're fighting. And so what that stat is speaking to is like the actual physical aggression, the actual fighting.
There's a couple at our school. He verbally embarrasses her, but I know behind closed door he puts his hands on her because we had a spirit week one day. We take mental health days at our school, like for everybody to gain and get their mental health together and have a little space, have their own personal day.
That's great.
Again, regarding their mental health. And we was in the classroom, and he was sitting by one of the girls that she assumed he was talking to. She came over there and she asked him, "What is this? Like, what is going on between you and her? I thought it was me and you." And he got mad, rose up, and told her she ain't gonna do this and that to the girl, and pushed her back. And so she got hostile. He started trying to argue with her and publicly embarrassed her. Then told her, he said, "If you keep on running your mouth, I'm gonna put my hands on you. Because if we being technical, excuse my language," he said, "if we being technical, you really ain't my bitch." And pushed her
I
by
don't
her
think you can say that on the radio.
Not on
and
the
pushed her
radio.
by her face.
Well, you're gonna get us censored.
I'm sorry.
Well, we're going to go into a brief commercial break. On that note,
We'll be right back.
we'll be right back. Okay, this is a no cussing zone.
I'm so sorry. But that's what he said to her.
Okay, but we know.
Hello and welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP.
And Stacy D.
I'm JP Craddock. I am here with the one and only, the lovely Miss Stacy D. Love. We are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
And wisdom.
and wisdom. You can also catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, TuneIn, and what is that?
KOJH.
KOJH.
on your FM dial.
Hold on. Give us that number again, Mr. Walker.
100.5.
100.5 on your FM dial. All right.
Woo, woo, we made it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
I'm all the way up.
Hopefully you all caught our pre-show, the Teens Corner.
They got off the chain today.
I loosened them up,
You got them too
and they
loose.
end up real loose, and profanity started coming out. So I need to not
But she
loosen
did
the kids.
apologize before she said it. I didn't know she was gonna go all the way there.
Oh, my
I
Lord.
didn't know it was about to go there.
Yeah,
But she apologized before she said it though, so that was nice.
Well, but I thought she was going to filter it. I thought she was
go
apologizing because she had caught herself and she wasn't going to say, but she ended up saying it anyway. That's young folks. They'll apologize and then go ahead and say something they're not supposed to say. Bless her heart. They did provide some good information on domestic violence in the teen population. Unfortunately, their time got cut short, and they weren't able to cover nearly all of the information that they had.
Yeah.
So, coming up on the show today, we have our question of the day, which is: should I tell him that I'm pregnant or have an abortion and keep it to myself? So, D, just try to bear with me.
Go open the door for him, Mr. Walker.
So that is our question of the day. Before we get to that, let's do our check-in. D, what is your check-in? Because I need your advice in my check-in. But what's your check-in?
I don't
D?
even have a check-in.
Well, I have one.
Come on.
Okay, I have realized that Nadine and we are not good at potty training any living thing, any living, whether it's babies, puppies. Let me tell you. Okay, we need to hire somebody to come in and house train this puppy. D, did you house train your puppy, your baby? Please tell me, how did you do it? Because whatever
y'all
we
have her
doing
in a
is not
crate?
working.
Do she even have a crate?
She got a crate. She got a pen. She got a
too many
crib.
things. She got too many things. She have too many things. Do you have snacks?
Well, the crate is this little bitty carrying case. The pen is she's got a big pen.
Okay, it can't be that big because she's going to use the bathroom in there.
Well, we're able to adjust the size.
Okay, adjust the size.
And so when we adjust the size to the size of the square pad.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we started doing was adjusting it so that the pad covered the whole pen to get her aware you pee and crap on this pad. Okay. Now, we've noticed she keeps using the bathroom on the edge of the pad. It's like she's trying not to mess up the pad, right?
Because it's in her crate.
Where it's supposed to be.
Well, you got to keep her out the crate then.
No, one of the things that you want to do is when you get up in the morning or so, if she's in the crate, when you take her out, you don't play with her. Take her right outside.
Mm-hmm.
Take her right outside, and then she'll use the bathroom. And you put her back in the crate, and if she stays there 4 or 5 hours, she's holding it because they are a den animal. They don't want to use it in their den where they live.
don't do that.
So then you take her out of the crate, take her right to the door. Don't stop in the house. Don't play with her.
And give her a
Take her
snack.
right back outside.
Okay. That
Where do y'all want
we
her
need
to use
try
the bathroom
that.
at?
We want her to use the bathroom outside. What we have been doing, because she does use the bathroom as soon as she wakes up, right? So we take her out of her little sleeping crate, and we've been putting her in her pen with the pads. And so we started out with the whole floor, the whole area of the crate, the pad, the
Y'all
pen.
do too much.
We're doing too much. Covered with the pad. And then we started to let her know, like, half of the pen was pad and then the other half is not, so that she can
don't know all of
so
that.
that she can
She's only 2
learn
months old.
use the pad. We haven't been taking her
Okay,
outside yet. We need to take her outside.
Yeah, y'all need to take her outside.
Okay. As soon
'Cause
as she
she's
gets
thinking
up.
that pad, her nature is that pad is my home. She ain't gonna use the bathroom in her house. This is where I live. This is where I
Because she
sleep.
doesn't use it in her crate that she sleeps in.
Right. And when you take her out, if you're gonna take her to a pad, if you're gonna use the pad, put the pad by the door. Take her out of her crate, put her on the pad. Because she's wanting to use it.
And we've done that because when we travel, we don't have the pen. So we just have the pad. Okay. So,
Y'all could take her in her travel pen when y'all travel. Y'all don't do that?
no, her pen is big.
What about her travel thing?
What travel thing?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
her little purse thing?
Oh, I found my other one too.
We got the little purse thing. We got the little
Y'all got
carrying
everything.
crate thing. But her pen, she got a big pen.
Y'all should be able to break it down and put it in the car.
Well, it folds up, but it's still big.
Oh, okay.
Because, we pack a lot. Because, we got Sashi Boo. Any other tips on house training this pup? Because
Do she have treats?
I'm about to sell this puppy.
No, do she have treats?
She gets treats.
Only give treats when she used the bathroom and
That's
it.
when she gets them.
Okay.
And today, she did well because she was in her pen, and there was an area with the pad for her to use the bathroom on, and then an area that was regular floor. And she did well. She peed and crapped on her pad. I praised
she
her.
Might be y'all might be pad training her then.
We want her to be both pad trained and outdoor
Y'all
trained.
doing a lot, and she's so young.
But I
But this
thought
is
that
the thing.
puppies can be trained to use the bathroom outside, but for times when you're not home and they can't go outside, they need to use them pads.
See, I don't let mine run around the house. I don't let mine run around the house.
That would be a thing, but if they're, it depends on how long you leave them. 'Cause our dog that we used to leave downstairs
Mm-hmm.
until I got off of work.
Okay.
He was ready to get out that door as soon as you came in.
Because he had been holding it all
Yeah.
day.
They can hold it up to 8. Like my
Yeah.
baby holds hers almost 10
'Cause
hours.
I had to let him out in the morning.
Well,
and I'd
she's
get ready to
only
go to
home
work.
at 2 to 3 hours max.
Yeah, that's it. That's enough. Because right now, y'all should be doing it like every 2 hours. Every 2 to 4 hours, taking her out.
Okay. I think we do that. Okay. So, I need one of y'all to come to my house and train this dog. Please.
I'm not the one.
I ain't the one either. All right, that's my
Sasha
check-in.
was 8 years old before she got potty trained.
Don't start
so.
this mess about my baby. That's what we ain't gonna do.
And what we had to
ain't
do,
gonna start no
she
mess
had to
about
run
my
around
baby.
buck naked. So you got to figure out how y'all gonna let the dog run around buck naked.
Because the dog is already naked.
The dog already
When you
naked.
had Pampers on yours, and I told Nadine, you need to find out where them puppy Pampers are that the D had, because I'm about to put one of Sashi's old Pampers on this dog.
Yeah, I did. I would take her out and stuff.
But
like
she's
that when
white,
she was a baby.
so we don't want no crap and pee on her.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Oh, my baby's so
But we ain't gonna
pretty
tell
now.
my baby. One, let's just say this: we did take my baby to the doctor, and she was having a medical issue. But you are right. The potty training technique that we had to resort to, I think I learned that on the internet.
You probably did. No, I think Kim
No,
told
Kim told me.
you.
My friend Kim Fry, said, look, you take the baby's pants and panties off. They need to be naked from the waist down. And just let them play and run around the house half naked like that, and they will not pee or crap. And it worked. Mm-hmm. But
She did it
puppies are
weekend.
naked all the time, and that ain't working. This puppy love to pee and crap everywhere.
Well, then it might be time to guess what? Get you some newspaper.
They
That's what I
said,
did. That's what I
but
did
they
to
said
Dream.
don't do that.
Well, I don't care. I did that to Dream, and well, you don't have no problems.
When do you do that?
I don't have to do it no more.
Right after, immediately after some pee or crap is in the wrong spot.
She got in trouble.
Just a
And she
little
knew-
tap, tap
and
on the
she
nose.
Would know, and she would know too, because she'll run to her cage. I was like, Heifer, let me go look, and I will find it. So she knew, and she would get in trouble. Then I wouldn't let her play, but she'd be on punishment. I wouldn't let her come outside and play.
That puppy crap smell worse than grown folks crap.
Are y'all feeding her good? Does she
We
drink
feed her
bottled
what
water?
they told us to feed her. Some expensive puppy food.
Yeah, that's true. Does she drink bottled water though? You have to give her bottled spring water, because if you
Yes.
don't, she'll turn yellow.
Yes, because we only drink spring water.
Well, yeah, that's what
And Nadine's been doing something that gets those tear stains.
she shouldn't get them.
She's not getting them now because Nadine has found something to remove them. But the vet told me it was not possible, and that little
Dream
white
don't have
dogs
'em.
that they are always going to have.
Have
that.
Dream ever, did Sire have them?
How did you get rid of them?
No, it's the food. It's the food and the water, and the water bowl that you put them in.
Maybe we need to switch food.
You might need to.
It's
switch
not the
food.
water. We need to switch food.
I'll tell you what type
Text
of food.
us what food.
I'll give you a picture of the food that I give my baby. It's actually cheap.
Okay, and it prevents the.
And let her eat and drink out of silver bowls.
She's got silver bowl.
Oh, well, it's the food.
Okay,
It's the food, and you don't have to
but
buy
why
any of that
we
medicine.
didn't consciously choose silver? We just thought the silver was cute.
Mm.
What's the purpose of the silver?
It doesn't have any of the dyes and stuff in it.
Really?
Yeah. So the silver is stainless steel. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But Dream eats.
Now, one of her water things has the thing so that the water it fills it
I don't do
automatically,
that. I don't do that.
but it's plastic. We need to just use the silver bowl for her to drink out of. Okay, that's enough doggy tips for today. We need to get on to mental health and illness in the news. D,
Yes.
are you ready for mental health and illness in the news?
Sure, because I have a whole lot of illness myself. Ooh.
You what do you mean by that, D?
This doggone ear infection, and I need to have another sinus surgery. That's why I'm getting all these ear infections.
Oh, surgery.
Sinus. I've had
That's
two.
serious.
Yeah, I've had two rooters.
Okay. Well, D, I hope you get better soon.
But my heart is good. I had my calcium heart.
You didn't have
Didn't
heart
I?
problems anyway, so when was your heart not
No,
good?
but we need to check it when we get of age. You have to go get all these little heart things
No,
done.
you always worried about, ooh, this is going to go wrong with me. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
preventative.
Oh, preventative measures.
Yes.
D, you're
Yes.
fine. You've lived longer than what you were afraid that you would live,
This
right?
is true.
So it's smooth sailing from here on out. You can party, drop it like it's hot, and you can do all start
I sure
drinking
did
because you
from-
never have drank. You start
Nah,
drinking
that
now,
might
start
be the
doing
reason
shots,
why I'm
do what you
still
gonna
healthy.
do,
Is
D.
because I didn't do all that drinking and smoking.
Right. Okay.
Mental health and illness.
Mental health and illness in the news. An Alaska airline pilot by the name of Joseph Emerson, he's 44 years old.
44.
He was riding in the jump seat on Alaska Airlines and made a statement, quote, "I'm not right." Then he jumped up and tried to turn off the engines while they were in mid-flight. So the pilot and the co-pilot had to wrestle this fool down because it was like 83 people on this plane, and he was going to turn the engines off. Just out of the blue.
Did this really did happen?
This happened, I believe it was today. He was riding in the jump seat, which means he was possibly on his way to his own plane that he was going to be flying, and just made this comment, "I'm not right." And he jumped up and he tried to turn the engines off. They had to fight and wrestle him to the ground
I thought
in
they're
midair.
supposed to have guns in the cockpit now.
The pilot isn't packing. Pilot need to be packing.
Sure do.
But no, I thought that they had, what's the name of the flight security people? Oh.
That's why I thought they had
So-
guns up in there.
If a pilot snaps, there's no
Everybody
way to get to him.
dead.
Mr. Walker, for those, because you all couldn't hear, Mr. Walker, they lock the
The
pilots
air
in
marshals.
there.
That's what they're called. The air
They
marshals.
lock them in there, and there's no air marshal in there with them because they're the pilots. Why would they try to crash
I think
the
they
plane?
do need to have an air marshal in there with them.
It's actually a good idea that they're locked in there because that prevents terrorists from getting
Oh,
access.
if they want to get in there, they'll get in there.
Well, that's true. But this, they didn't anticipate that a pilot would snap. Here's my thought. I don't think this was premeditated. I think he just snapped. Because if it was premeditated, he would have waited until they took him to San Francisco, wherever his plane was waiting, where he would have been the actual pilot, and he would have been able to take that plane down probably. Like the co-pilot would have had to fight him. I think they need to, because he's alive, they need to investigate and figure out what was going on. But he's charged with 83 counts of attempted murder. On top of another 80-something charges, because he's going to be in prison for a long time. Here is another scary aspect of this for those of you who fly. Not all planes are able to restart in midair. And as a pilot, he probably knew that that plane would not restart, because he apparently was also trying to turn off the fire extinguisher system. And so if you turn off the fire extinguishing system and the engines, I believe that prevents the plane from being able to restart. Now, the plane will coast. This is what's odd about it. It'll coast for a while, but you got to be able to land the thing. This fool snapped. They said that he had a very good employment record, no history of insanity. He just passed his, basically, I call it fitness for duty, but every 6 months, the airline has essentially a fitness for duty exam, and he just passed his last month. Now, what they said on the news is that it has some questions about the person's mental health, not that it's an actual assessment. And so our young people, our Teens Corner interns, I have requested that they do some research. We need to get a hold of whatever the assessment is that airline uses, because apparently they're not doing a thorough mental health assessment to see if people are fit.
They're not. They're just doing a physical one. They want to make sure they're ready to work.
And I think the question, because
remember, they just walked out. What was that, like 6 months ago? The pilots did a walkout, or maybe a year ago? Yeah.
Oh, they walked off the job?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alaska Airline has had problems before, because apparently a couple of years ago, one of their maintenance technicians stole a plane, flew it all around the Seattle area before crashing and dying. He didn't know how to land the thing, and apparently from their investigation, he wasn't even trying to land it. So Alaska Airlines, do you ever fly Alaska? Okay. I'm trying to think, have I flown Alaska? Because when we went to Seattle, we may have flown Alaska. But for those of you who fly Alaska, you might want, before you book another one on Alaska, you might want to wait until we figure out what type of assessment these fools are doing.
And the View stated,
D, they need
we already had cussing on the air.
The
now
kids are
Alaskan
cussing.
Fur is Alaskan Fur.
Alaskan Fur. Alaska Airlines
Alaskan Airlines
will kill you. They are not properly assessing their staff. And here's my thought.
There is a slight update. The off-duty pilot accused of trying to bring down the Alaska Airlines plane told investigators he had not slept for 40 hours and believed he was having a nervous breakdown, and also admitted to use of psychedelic mushrooms, according to a federal complaint filed Tuesday.
No. Hell no.
This fool was on shrooms. It does not matter that he had not slept for 40 hours.
That's the reason why he couldn't sleep for 40 hours.
Because he's on shrooms. He's hallucinating. That's a hallucinogen.
It sure is. Oh, my.
And so he's sitting there high on his way
And about to fly a plane.
being taxied to his plane. He's sitting there high on shrooms talking about, I'm not right.
Hell no, can we say hell? Well, the other girl done said B. Hell no, you're not right.
to this. Let's talk about shrooms for a minute, because this is a
goodness gracious.
hallucinogen. What possibly happened?
That was Alice in Wonderland, wasn't it?
Well, this is what probably happened. He probably had a hallucination
Yeah.
and was not even aware at the time that
Of
he
what
was
he was
trying to
doing.
turn off the engines of the
No.
plane.
He was probably trying to get all the ants from someplace or something. Who knows? Yeah.
And they think he was trying to turn the engines
Yeah,
off,
he was
but
just trying to knock
he's
down
fighting
the
for
ants.
his life.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, so this is not funny because this is a dangerous situation.
It's very dangerous.
Let's just say we are we are not making light of this situation. Okay, a
But-
pilot was high on shrooms and tried to turn the engines off. Here, this kind of eliminates my question because I was getting ready to say that Alaska Airlines needs to hire me to come in and do
Boy,
thorough
you're trying to get hired on
assessments.
Alaska Airlines, USD 500.
I'm only going to
I'm
charge
not
them
mad at
$500 an hour for this.
I'm not
They-
mad at you. And I'm going to be your assistant. Can I get
They've had
$250?
so many problems that I would charge them $500 because they desperate. They need, seriously, they need to most likely enhance the mental health component of their assessment. They need to be doing a thorough assessment. But if
They
he was
need to
high on
be.
shrooms, and see that information hadn't came out this morning because I got this was breaking news this morning. If he was high on shrooms, he would easily pass his fitness for duty exam because he probably was sober at that time. And so this is the thing, when it comes to drug abuse, an assessment is not going to catch that. And they probably do random UAs, or do they? We need to
They
ask our
should.
teenagers to look into that. They need to pull the information on the assessment, but we also need to know, are they doing random UAs of their pilots? Because he's a drug user. This fool up there high on shrooms having hallucinations
And about to fly another flight.
and was going to, thank goodness,
Boy, God
thank
is
goodness
good.
he snapped while he was sitting in the jump seat of that plane, as opposed to him being high, getting on his plane and snapping and taking the plane down. So really, this is a miracle. Thank God that this happened when it did, because it could have been much worse.
Most definitely.
All right, are you ready for the question of the day, D? Because I want you to answer this question first because, you know, you're a woman and you're going to have some really good feedback on this.
Maybe.
Question of the day. No, you're going to have some good feedback on this. Should I tell him that I'm pregnant or have an abortion and keep it to myself? Here's my question, D. Are there any circumstances where this would be okay? Are there
Yes.
any circumstances where it would be okay to not
Yes.
tell a partner, I'm pregnant and I'm having an
Yes.
abortion? What would those circumstances be?
If he was a random.
A random hookup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if a woman has a one-night stand,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay for
I
her
think
to
so.
abort that child.
Yeah, if that's what she wants to do. Now, if she wants the baby, then she can keep the baby. But if she don't want the baby and like, nah, I ain't ready for that. Nah.
But if she's sleeping around and having one-night stands, why isn't she taking the morning after pill?
Oh, look at you know about stuff. Sometimes the morning after pill don't
Well,
work.
I ain't been married that long. I know about that pill.
Sometimes the morning after pill don't work.
Really?
Exactly.
What? How often does that not? Are there stats on that?
I don't know.
We ain't got no kids up in here. Mr. Walker is still trying to figure out what happened on Alaska Airlines.
Mr. Walker, can you look up the stats for the day after pill, please?
The morning after
The
pill.
morning after pill.
What are the percentages of time that's ineffective? But I want to kind of challenge that.
And
a
they
little
may
bit
not
deep.
have that $100 right then and there to get
Let
it.
me. Oh, the pill is $100.
One pill, $100. Yes.
Shut up.
Yes. One pill, $100. And they be out of stock too.
That's a lot of money for one pill.
One pill, $100.
How much is
no,
Mr.
it's
Walker's
not.
right. It is cheaper to raise a kid. And how much is an abortion?
All depends on how far you are. Like they ranges from like, it used to be like 500 to a couple of thousand, depending on how far you are.
Oh Lord.
Still cheaper than a kid.
True. Here's my
so what
challenge.
was the stat that you wanted?
How often, because I was under the impression that the morning after pill is
Nothing is
effective
100%.
at all times.
No.
But, you know, usually if something's in the 90-something percentile, that's basically effective all the time. How often does this pill not work? Because the D is saying that a woman can have sex and pop her $100 morning after pill,
$100 morning
and 9 months later, a baby still come out of her. Baby
Well,
come out
I
cussing
know
and
3
smoking
times.
cigarettes. Smoking Cool Filter King.
Say emergency contraceptive can prevent up to over 95% of pregnancies
90.
when taken within 5 days after intercourse.
Oh, I
So
thought
they
they had to
get
be taken
20
within 24 hours.
So they got $20 a day.
And 95% is
It's
great
pretty good.
stats.
But I know 3 people who said they took the morning after pill and they still had a baby.
Then here's
I gave
another
one
one
$100.
from-
They mixed their pills up and accidentally took one of their regular birth control pills that they hadn't been taking, obviously.
Say what, Mr.
Yeah,
Walker?
Australia, they said the pills are around 85% effective.
They got some cheap pills there. They probably only cost $85 too.
Now theirs might be free.
Actually, in other countries, most likely it's free because
Mm-hmm.
healthcare is so much less expensive in other countries. Here's my thoughts, D. You're saying that if it was a one-night stand, but I know people who had one-night stands and went ahead and had the child, and they co-parented, and the child is
Because they
thriving.
wanted the baby.
I'm
They
not
wanted the baby.
sure. I'm not sure that one-night stand is a good enough reason to be aborting a child.
If I don't want the baby, it's a good enough reason. It's my body.
So the D is saying, just because it's, and here's the thing.
Hey, I don't care if you're my. I don't care if you're my husband. If I don't want the baby, I'm gonna get rid of it. It's my body.
Right. Here's my thoughts, though. Okay. And I'm not anti-abortion, but yes, it's the woman's body. But as a father myself,
And
If
a
I was-
mighty good one.
if I was in, I do the best I can. Lord knows I love to ground my baby walk on.
The doctor's office know them by name.
Because I'll make sure ain't nothing wrong with my baby. They know it's in urgent care. If I was in that position, as I think about my Sashi boo, if I was in that position and let's say if me and Nadine were not married, she tells me she's pregnant. I'm thinking about Sashi boo, right? And she says, well, it's my body. I would be like, but that's half my baby. And that's your body. But that baby.
Oh Lord.
I said, let me tell you one damn thing, woman. Let me tell you. That's half
Well, you
my
been called her a
baby.
B. You been called her a B.
Like the kid. You know my wife is listening to the show. I cannot say that I would call her a B. What I can say
Beat down.
is I
We
be
have
done
any
told her.
comments yet?
Because this is the aspect of abortion that people don't discuss. People only discuss this is my body and I'm in agreement with that. But for men who want their child, their perspective is what's in your body, we both created and it's half mine.
Well, take me to court then.
And if you kill it, I'm gonna kill you.
Take me to court then.
Can people take people to court for that?
I'm sure they can.
I don't think people can take
Let's
people
try to get
court.
some,
You can't sue to prevent an abortion.
I think you can. Let's,
Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker, we still on the
Are
air.
there
It's all about
legal?
us.
This is where we need Valencia. This is where we need our attorney
I
who
know, where's
rolled
our
up out of
attorney?
here. She
Yeah,
always
she
rolling
has.
up out of here knowing that we need legal advice because I have directed people in ways where we could all get sued. Mr. Walker,
Exactly.
are there legal interventions to prevent an abortion? I've never
looking it up
heard
now.
of men being able to sue
I have heard this
to
before.
prevent an abortion.
I have heard this.
All right. And so the D is saying it's her body. My perspective is
My body, I can do what I want to do.
I think under those circumstances, she should tell that man, under the circumstances of a one-night stand, if she knows him well enough that she can have contact with him, she needs to contact him and say, listen, what we did, a baby's coming. And say, I want to have an abortion. And then they need to discuss it. Yes, her argument is going to be, well, it's my body. His argument is going to be, but we created that together. That was both of us drunk having unprotected sex that night. And I don't remember the sex, but if you telling me,
I wasn't drunk. I know exactly what happened.
then this should never happen with you, D. But and I'm not saying that the person who submitted this question was drunk. So if you were listening to the show, I'm just throwing out possible scenarios, possible explanations. Here are the circumstances where I would agree with a woman perhaps not telling a man is if she had a one-night stand and she doesn't even know him. Like, because sometimes I have
don't even know how to get in touch with him.
Well, and I have had clients
One-night
who have had a
stands?
one-night stand where they weren't exactly sure who they had sex with.
Oh, wow.
And they could narrow it down
They
to
was
two
on
or
those
three
mushrooms
people.
too, huh?
On the shroom, they was on something. They was on something. But I have had women who have said, I have narrowed it down to 2 or 3 people that were at the party.
Wow.
But I was intoxicated and I was busy. I woke up exhausted because I was busy. And in those instances,
So she was busy. So
Real
it could have
busy.
been 2 or 3. So we
2 or
don't
3.
know. We don't know. who
DNA
it
testing
is.
would have to take
So
place.
legally, it would depend upon what state you're in.
Mm.
The state of Missouri, you can't have an abortion. So
You can or can't?
You can't. You're the only
so
in
a person
Kansas.
could sue a person that performed an abortion, or work to stop from abortion. In Kansas, it's a little different. So it's a state by state rule now. So it depends.
Since they threw Wade versus Wade out. Wasn't it Wade versus Wade?
So in the states where abortion is allowed, if a woman is pregnant, are you saying that a man can take her to court to prevent an abortion?
Well, no, not where it's allowed. Where it's not allowed.
Or where it's not allowed, because she ain't supposed to be grabbing hangers and giving herself a homemade abortion anyway.
Or going to a doctor or to a clinic or any place.
Because around here, they just go across State Line Road to Kansas and
There
get them an
you go.
abortion.
There it is.
Right. And so I was thinking, even though if I had a client who came in, and I have had clients who really, they didn't know who, they was like, I was having sex. I would say, okay, well, you have 2 options. You can track down the 2 or 3 men that you believe you had sex with and ask them, listen, at Stacey D's party the other night, I think we had sex. I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure. Did we have
That's
sex?
really a bad thing for a woman to ask a man that. That means he did not put it down and I could not remember. Wow.
Or she was that intoxicated.
Yeah.
But he might
Wow.
not be, remember, he might be like, wait,
Judah?
hold up. You was at the party?
Oh, you was the one at the meeting?
He might be like, you was at Stacey's party. And she, yes. And I'm asking you, did we have sex?
I looked
Broad,
really good
I didn't even know
underneath
you were at the party. So I'm unable to answer this
Good
question.
question.
If
Wow.
you and I had, I think you need to move around to the other people you had sex with. Because even if, a lot of men, even if they remember having sex with her, they gonna say, the fact that she's asking me, let me say I didn't have no sex with this alpha.
Exactly.
You was there.
You were there.
Did we? We didn't do. I didn't know you was there. I didn't see you there. I probably left before you got there. That wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
And so as she goes from man to man to try to figure out, okay, who made this baby with me? Like, she called the next one. Listen, you remember Stacey D's party? Yes. You remember we was having a good time? We had a real good time. Well, I'm pregnant. Ooh, wait, hold up.
Nah, we didn't have a good time.
I didn't have a good time with you.
That's
All
a
of a sudden,
mess.
he's like, I didn't have a good time with you. So those are my thoughts, though. I generally, this is my answer. The D's answer is, it's your body. If you
My
want to have an
body, my
abortion, have an
choice.
abortion, and you don't have to tell him crap. My response is, if you know the person, there is a possibility that he wants his child. There's a possibility that he would be an incredible father. There's a possibility that he may say, okay, if you don't, if you too many possibilities, he may say, when I was a single person, if I would have ended up in this predicament, what I would have said is, listen, I tell you what, as opposed to aborting my child without my permission, which is going to cause some problems.
Which we don't even know if that's your child.
Oh, because
You may not be that baby daddy.
because she'll know who she has sex with.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, I was getting ready to say,
You may not be that daddy's
that
baby
baby dad. I was going to say that what I would offer is, okay, since you do not want the child, and I do, give birth to the child, and me and my baby will go on about our business, and you will not ever,
What about if it's not your baby?
ever have to have contact.
So would you take a blood test?
Well, we would do the DNA testing,
But okay, so what if it don't come up as your baby? Then there's another
and then it's
unwanted
too late for
child.
her to have an abortion. Ooh, that's a tough
Ooh.
one.
Just gonna let her have an abortion.
That's D.
What?
D. I'm thinking about the children I have. I would not have been okay under these circumstances if, like, my kid was aborted. But
Gerald,
you
do
bring
think
up
that
a
maybe
good point.
some of your kids have been aborted? Mm.
It is possible.
It's a possibility.
And I'm going to tell you why it's possible. In the past, I'm not going to say who it was.
When you was a hoe.
In the Oh my God, what are we gonna do with the D? In the past, when I was in a relationship, this is when we were younger, and you know this person, I was told, well, if I ever get pregnant, you'll never know. Which made me always concerned and worried, like, okay, I don't think that was totally a joke. This heifer is basically saying, if I get pregnant, I'm going to get rid of the baby and I will not tell you, which is this question. I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't even thought about, I have been on the other side of this.
Yes, you have.
So now
and didn't even know it though.
And so now I really feel this way, that she should say, call all the men, all the potential baby daddies, because when she get to me, I'd have been like, listen, I need you to have that baby and give me the baby and go on about your business. You ain't never got to see us again. Now, your thing is, what if the baby isn't yours? You know, at that point,
Because you're going to go do all the doctor visits and everything. So
I
you're going
would-
to be connected anyway.
I would be like, I'm keeping this. I'll never know. I'll never know if this baby is not mine, because you can do the DNA testing, but at that point, you have to ask yourself,
Do it
okay,
matter?
I've already talked her out of having an abortion. It's too late for her to have one. And do I want to do DNA testing now and find out that this baby isn't mine? Because her plan is, whether it's yours or not, you taking this baby. Because
Yeah.
that was the arrangement.
Mhm.
You told me if I had this baby, you take this baby, I would never have to see you or the baby again.
Period.
Period. So you taking it at that point, I'd be like, I don't want to do a DNA test. This
yours.
is like, this is my baby.
It's your baby.
And for me, because as you know, me and Nadine, we've adopted. I don't have to be biologically connected to in order for me to love a child. The only
Family
way this
is
would
not
backfire.
always blood. It's love.
This is true. This is true. And as we get older, we learn that more and more and more.
More and
like
more and
as you
more.
get older, you choose your family.
You sure do.
Because some of them fools you was born with, they got to go. But the only way that this could
They
become
should
a
have got
problem,
aborted.
this is D, that was so D. Let's keep going. Hopefully nobody heard that. Mr. Walker missed that. Okay, here's the only drawback to that is if you don't do the DNA testing, she has the baby, you keep the child. If she has mental illness on her side, and you end up with a baby who has bipolar disorder, this baby, as soon as they turn 8, you're going to be getting cussed out on a regular basis. Up one wall, down another, the baby punching you all in the face. Because when it comes to the genetics, and that's where if she has, you know, some mental illness.
So you mean to tell me before you get ready to
I'd
lay
still
down?
keep the baby.
So before you get ready to lay down, with a have a sex. Hold on a minute.
I need to do a
Give me
quick
your
mental
family-
status exam. I need to do a genogram. I need to, let me for those listeners out there who are in graduate school to become a therapist, let me do a rundown for you. If you are out sleeping around, you need to do what the D just said. First, you need to gather family history. That's
Family
called
history.
a genogram,
Genogram.
which is basically a family tree, a clinical family tree. Then you need to do a full mental status exam to see what she has. This is going to give you information on all the mood disorders, the psychotic disorders, the psychosocial, the behavior disorders, all of that. And then you tell her, okay, don't have an abortion. On a serious note, my suggestion to this person is if you know him and you can contact him or them, if there's several potential fathers, do so and give them the chance to weigh in on whether or not there should, you should have an abortion. That's just, I don't know. That's my thought on that. But I do agree that a woman, here's kind of how I look at it. I look at it as like a 60-40, maybe 75-25, because I do agree she is the one who has to carry the baby. So I know that the female listeners out there are probably screaming about, my position on this. I'm not in disagreement with the D, because the woman is the one who has to carry the baby for 9 months. And pregnancies can be extremely difficult. And so even if the father is saying, I'm willing to take care of the baby, I'm going to go away, you won't ever have to see the baby, she does have a right to say, yeah, but we are still talking about me carrying this child for now 9 months, and I did not want to do that. I was just trying to have fun at Stacey D's birthday party. My man wasn't there. What am I supposed to do? Go home and tell my man that I'm pregnant with your baby? I'm supposed to go home and tell my husband I'm pregnant with your baby?
He has your eyes.
And let's keep it totally real. In that situation, no woman is going to tell anybody. If she was at the D's birthday party, getting down with 2 or 3, while her husband was at home, she's not telling the man, she ain't telling the men, she's not telling her husband. She is going to,
She's not even going to tell
one,
me.
she's going to have one of them $100 day after pills, and she's going to take 2 of them and probably get sick. And she's going to be taking pregnancy tests and getting that abortion. No one will ever know.
No one will ever know.
And so even though I have the male perspective that, hey, I would want to know, I'm empathizing with the female perspective, because if I was in that position, I cannot say that I would be running around and telling people and going home and telling my spouse. Like, if I was a woman in that position, it's easy for a man to say, nope, that ain't right. That's what I would do. I would tell my husband. I would tell, because that's, but really, let's be totally honest. If you've been skanking around at a party and you got a spouse at home and kids,
A whole family.
you are not coming home. Most men, if you were that woman, you are not coming home and telling your spouse and kids, oh, by the way, I'm knocked up with somebody else's baby. I'm trying to figure out whose baby it is. Nobody's doing that. And so before people criticize my perspective on this now, because I'm presenting a whole nother perspective that is a little bit the opposite of what my initial perspective was, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Because if you was a woman, don't you tell me then that you would go home and tell your spouse. And the reason why I say this is because I see men in therapy who it is a huge struggle. They only tell their spouse that they got another woman pregnant if they feel like they can't hide it. If they feel like they can hide it,
they're not gonna tell.
They don't tell. But if it's a woman who they like, I know she gonna show up on my doorstep and tell my wife with her belly sticking all out. Her belly rang the doorbell.
Mary J. Blige song.
Which one? Because Mary always singing about some drama.
Yeah, that was the one. And the baby had your eyes.
Oh yeah. Which is
I had
jam.
a visitor today.
Oh yeah. This is like the second or third time you quoted Mary J. Blige. D, why are you relating all these Mary J. songs with this kind of drama?
I'm gonna go home and listen to Mary J. That's what I'm about to do.
Anytime we discuss some drama, you bring up a Mary J.
Be
song.
on it.
She do be on it. Mary J. That's my girl. She do be
All right
on it.
then.
So, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on this, D?
None at
Any
all.
other thoughts?
None at
That's your only perspective is your body have an abortion?
Yes, my body.
Are there any circumstances where you would want the woman to tell the man? See, D, you're not thinking outside the box. I thought outside the
hell
box.
with the box.
No,
my body, my baby, my body.
My body. D, I'm sure.
He's not my man. I don't owe him nothing. I hope he put
What
it
if
down
it was an
good.
ex? What if it was an ex?
Exes are meant to be exes for a reason.
Hold on. What if I want you to think about some of your exes?
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Show over.
Nope. We got 5 minutes. Oh, Mr. Walker. Okay. D, you just got off the hook because what I was going to ask, because you might have exes listening to this show right now. If you had an ex who you still loved and y'all slipped into the throes of passion and you ended up pregnant, I do not think you would abort that child. I think you would tell him and you would have that baby.
Not at this age. What, 15 years ago?
I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, D.
Oh, 20 years ago?
Because at this age, you ain't even able to get pregnant, D.
You don't know what's going on with my tubes.
That's our show for today. That is our show for today.
Woo!
Thank you all for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything. And my tubes still do work.
Tubes work. Thank you and God bless.
Bye-bye now. Did he really go there? Oh,